Welcome, everyone, to DMV Rivals Spring Edition 2023. My name's Hoptech. I'm joined today by Shiv,
Hello?
and we'll be getting into today's games. This is the original scheduled time for 6 p.m., but two teams already played yesterday and 2 days ago, so we'll just be having two teams. I'll be streaming the three time versus Sunny. Very good teams. I think these are some of the better teams we have in terms of the power ranking sheet that was floating around. I don't know who spread that around, not gonna lie, but yeah, I think Nightstone is one of the more highly rated teams. Derive, also in his own right, Sunny, um, one of the higher ranks. Um, and yeah, I hope to see a good game. I'm gonna go through their teams real quick. On the side of Sunny, we have Derive himself, Lyrax, Jiraxis, a loner, harmonic arcanist. What do you think of his teams, Shiv?
I remember from previous DMV rivals, what's his name? Derive can be an absolute menace, but yeah, he's probably the guy I have my eye on the most. He carried a lot of games from the previous tournaments.
Yes, I agree. I think he's probably, I might be a little biased, but I think he's probably the best mid laner in this tournament. He is a captain, so the top eight captains were generally the top eight players in the tournament. So he is one of the mid laners, and I think he's probably the best mid laner. But other than that, we have Jiraxis, our resident GP main. We can expect to see a ban on his champion.
The champion is very good. Prince Money.
Yeah,
Don't let that happen to you kids.
yep. Even with the nerfs recently, I think that champ is still kind of busted. Not gonna lie. So yeah, better for the three time not to let him get his hands on that. Lyrax, he's an ADC slash support harmonic arcanist. He's been climbing a lot. I've been seeing him. I've been looking at his OPGG. He started as gold, I think gold 3 or gold 2. I don't know what it said on the sheet, but now he's plat 3 and he's ready to make an impact with all that solo queue experience he soaked up. And
Yeah,
then we have
try to
Alone.
round into shape in the support role, get a handle on the kind of weird meta supports in with all the ranged characters and the ADCs that are roaming around in there.
Yeah, and I've been seeing some of their scrims, and they've been trying out some spicy stuff down there. So expect to see some maybe off meta picks, but nonetheless, very good team. I think I forgot to mention Aloner. Aloner is also a very good player. I think he has like he just is a really gank heavy player. Just really likes to get his lanes ahead. Definitely a team player, but yeah, I think this is a really good team. But on
Yeah,
the other
looking
side,
through a
oh
bit
sorry, go
of
ahead.
Aloner's histories when they were playing like 5v5s, he is seeming to be more of a supportive jungler, playing a lot of like tanks like Zac and the Poppy. I think Zac is a fantastic champion that we don't see a lot of just because people want to play aggressive, but I do think Zac could be a very interesting pick for Aloner in this game.
Yep, for sure. We'll see if they offer that. Definitely a very good ganking jungler. But with that, let's move on to the other side. We have the three time from their name. Let's just go through the players first. We have Nightstone, Habibi Poppy, Autumn, Cridians, Danny Elgato. And the three time, I believe, they're going for the third championship. Both Nightstone and Habibi have won 2 each, respectively. I'm not sure if actually Nightstone has won 3 or Habibi was. I think Nightstone has won 2 and Habibi has won 2. But yeah, Autumn has won 1 herself. Cridians and Daniel Gatto. I think Daniel Gatto is his first tournament. Cridians is his second. And yeah, it looks like they're just trying to aim for another championship. I think this is a very good team, one of the highest rated teams, because Habibi Poppy is like one of the best ADCs in the tournament. Very highly rated player. Nightstone has played like I think 3 roles or 2 roles and got a DMV championship, both on top and jungle, I believe.
Hmm.
Autumn has won a chip just last DMV, I believe, playing mid lane. She's a very good player, and I expect a lot of good things from this team.
Yeah, you pointed out Habibi Poppy. I think it's going to be interesting to see how on one side you have Derive, who is the best player of his team, kind of in the mid lane as that sort of point guard that can start action all over the map if he gets priority. But then you look at the meta right now, and it seems much more catered to a hyper carry or like aggressive bot lane style. So I think Habibi seeing that kind of one team with their best player in bot, one team with their best player in mid could be very interesting to see.
Yeah, and not to take away from Lyrax, he's also a very good player. I think probably one of the highest rated ADCs as well. I think they can definitely hold his own into Habibi and Cridians. So look to see some back and forth down there. I think this match is going to be very centered towards bot. I believe because a lot of their best players are centered towards bot and the mid lane and obviously the jungle. Um, Not to say that Jiraxis is a bad player or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
but I think Danny Elgato will probably opt for some of those tank picks because he's a jungle. He's a little bit off rolled right now, kind of autofilled. I think they're gonna opt for maybe some tank picks, like maybe an Orin, maybe something like that, maybe a Maokai even. But we'll just have to see based on that. I think
Yeah.
I think the 3 time is having some technical difficulties, so we're on a little bit of a delay. Um,
All right. At least you pointed out Danny Elgato. He has been playing Maokai and Ornn with the team as of recently. I do think it's interesting that I don't see any Scion. If you talk about like big OP tanks right now, Scion, Cho'Gath are kind of the two at the top right now. But he seems to have a bit more Yorick games than he does on those really big beefy boys.
Yeah, I think Cho'Gath is we saw yet just yesterday from Restfog. Restfog was a goddamn menace on that Cho'Gath. He almost like literally solo carried that game because the other side just could not deal with him. So yeah, I think Cho'Gath is a very strong carry. Those really big HP stackers into champions that like don't really have that much percentage health damage or like building a Leandry is really good. I mean, they just have good CC, good setup, just a very good beefy front line. I mean, it seems like top tanks are kind of broken right now. I've been watching LEC earlier today, and we saw Scion, we saw Malphite. Yeah, just
Yeah.
tanks are making a comeback, I guess.
Yeah, we did see Malphite banned out yesterday, but I do think there are definitely good angles to play to play Malphite, especially when the enemy comp maybe has something like an Ari or Lissandra that doesn't quite bring a lot of magic damage into a composition. So you can heavily index towards armor just because become absolutely unkillable, hit your banana combos just like Keen over in the LCK. And so tanks are definitely very good. Trundle is not good, so please don't play Trundle if the enemy plays tanks. Just like try to beat them early. I don't know. I do not think you should play Trundle
Yeah, all
as
right.
your solution to tanks.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think Trundle's been pretty weak, but with those comments, I think we can go into draft. Um, I believe both teams are ready to get into draft. So let's go to that. Yep, there we go. And I'll just tell them we're ready. And we'll jump in once they're readied up. Yeah, looks like Sunny has red side and 3 time has blue side. I think Sunny, it's very valuable for Sunny to have red side because they get to counterpick solo laners, which are their best players, I believe. Draxus is D1 peak, Drive is a Masters player.
Yep.
And they both outrank their lane opponents, so I think it's very valuable to have solo lane counters for those two.
Yep. We're going to be able to see how deep their pockets can go and what kind of interesting counterpicks they can come up with. I do think that's a spot that a lot of teams kind of don't exploit as much. They want to play kind of traditional comps that they've played through scrims. But if you have picks ready to go that you think are going to slam a matchup, I definitely think it can be a very good advantage.
Yep, and that's what 3 time was worried about. Looks like they're gonna ban away that GP and the Syndra, and then show a little respect on a loner for that Lee Sin. Doesn't want a loner to get those ganks off early with that Lee Sin. He's been kind of a menace, honestly, with that Lee Sin. So they're gonna take it away from him. On Sunny's side, they ban away Zaya, very strong ADC, Thresh, very strong support, and then Wukong. And it looks like 3 time is just gonna B1 the Zeri.
Hyper focused here for the 3 time. Looking to go late, you would imagine with the Zeri. I think obviously she has good pairings that we've seen like Lulu, but Annie is also uber broken right now and has been appearing in Zeri lanes and did not appear on the ban list. So I think Annie would be an interesting champion for either team to pick up here.
Yeah, I think the Zeri is a good pick on Habibi Poppy's side because he does that. This team really does like to play for scaling picks. Autumn likes to play supportive mid laners like Seraphine, like Oriana, that kind of stuff. So let's
Oh,
see what they have to complement that. But red side
well,
picks Swain and Vi. Yeah,
yeah. So this Zeri is gonna get locked down by the Vi. That's the kind of value people want from her in the jungle role. But Swain blind is not something I really
I
expect.
think it's a Swain ADC. We have Lyrex is actually our resident Swain ADC player, by
Oh,
the
okay,
way, a
okay.
Swain bot laner. So I think this is a Swain pick to punish this area, who is rather short range. They're gonna pick up that Yumi actually. The three
Oh
time is gonna pick
dear.
up that Yumi. I'm not sure how
We're
I feel
scaling
about
for
that.
days.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think Yumi is just not the greatest champion right now with all the nerfs she's gotten. But I mean, we could see some crazy Yumi stuff like yet again. I don't know. This champion has been meta for so long and just annoying for so long that we could probably see it again this game.
Yeah, I think definitely has a lot of value when the Vi is
Yep.
running into you. You can get a good final chapter off, build a Mikhails if your ADC is crying about getting caught up by Vi. And there is the supportive Ari pick that you mentioned from Autumn.
Yeah. The Ori pick, yeah, for sure. I think she is thinking that the Swain is going mid. It might be a Swain blind, but that is definitely not something that I've seen in Derive's champ pool. I don't think that's a flex. I think that's definitely a Swain bot lane, if
So
not
what kind
Swain
of pick would you
support.
want here to punish the Oriana?
Oh, I would love the Xerath. Oh my god, it's a Xerath. Okay,
Oh,
so I don't know for sure if that's mid lane because that could be Swain and Xerath bot lane to just punish the heck out of the Xerath Yumi, just poke her to oblivion and then set up a dive. That might be the play that they're going for here. Um, but we'll just have to see what that Xerath goes. Really spicy picks from Sunny so far.
yeah, I
Um,
think Xerath definitely a champion that we don't see a lot of because, you need to hit your skill shots. But when you're in support, you definitely have a very annoying laning phase, just piling on damage throughout
yeah,
the entire process, standing a screen away. Besides Zeri, Yumi can't really do anything about it.
yeah, and I think that they really think that Swain is not going bot lane. They're banning away Tristana. Sunny opting to just ban away junglers here from Nightstone. It's also a very, very strong jungler.
Yeah,
Um,
just taking away frontliners like the Jarvan and Hecarim that can kind of get in, but also have a way to get out, which is kind of the value they have as engaged champions compared to
mhm,
like a
mhm.
Vi.
Yeah, for sure. So basically they want to limit the front to back capabilities that Azeri would have with any jungler, really. But they're leaving open a few options. Let's see what Nightstone opts to pick, but Sunny has the red side pick here. They might try to look for a mid counter pick. Well, that's Kindred. That's a Kindred mid.
Okay.
That's a Kindred mid.
So I have no idea what to expect out of Kindred Mid. I mentioned Vietnam yesterday. Vietnam did play Kindred Mid once, and I vaguely remember it going terribly.
Oh, it went terribly.
So
Okay.
we'll see how well it goes here.
Okay. Well, I've seen Derive play Kindred mid, and hopefully he can pull something off. Obviously, they needed an AD pick with the double AP bot lane. But let's see what they're gonna go for. I mean, we see Graves mid, or sorry, Graves jungle, and then Ornn top lane. So Daniel Gatto did opt for that tanky top laner. And we see a Mordekaiser counter pick. Wow.
Okay, so very interesting. I think you can see 3 time going for a very standard sort of like front to back composition. You have hyper carry, you have mage, you have tank, and Oriana and Yumi can even empower the Graves as a second option if he's like ahead and the Zeri's behind. So very traditional kind of standard here for the 3 time.
Yeah. I think Graves just wants to farm, uh, but I think he needs to be careful because he kind of has 3 losing lanes. I'm not gonna lie. He needs to be very careful because Vi can invade him. Kindred can even invade him. They can get pushes in, and then look to play further jungle. So to deny Graves a lot of farm and make sure he doesn't scale up. And I think it can be very scary for Graves to actually get his foot on the pedal because this is a jungler that needs a lot of resources to get going. So let's see how the 3 time wants to play this game.
Yeah. I think personally, when the jungle meta is kind of like just full clear versus full clear, it's incredibly boring. But once you have a champion like Graves that wants to scale up and get farm, but the enemy Vi is someone that wants to disrupt it and isn't just okay sitting back and taking their own camps, you get a lot of interesting decisions and sort of like mental warfare between the two junglers.
Yep, precisely, exactly. But yeah, we'll just have to see how this. I think if Sunny really wants to look for a win in this game, they need to start looking early. Vi needs to start looking for ganks early, maybe even a dive bot lane, maybe even a dive top lane, because Mordekaiser does have this counter matchup, and if this Mordekaiser just R's Zeri out of the fight, she doesn't get a Yumi. She's just gonna die in that death realm.
Yep. That is the other kind of value that the Mordekaiser provides. Was a kind of a soft counter to the Yumi earlier. Normally, you don't like playing these sort of like big melee champions without any gap close to Zeri Yumi, but like you said, pulling that Zeri and Yumi apart and being able to dissect them from there could be very big for this Mordekaiser.
Yep. I'm excited for this game, honestly. Excited to see what kind of decisions are made, especially early, but also in the mid game when these teams are going to start looking to stack dragons. I think, if anything, the side of Sunny should look to get those early dragons. With they have a kindred, they have very high damage in this early game, and they can start looking to just kind of stop the 3-time from scaling up by
Yeah,
stacking those dragons.
I think one other thing that's going to be interesting to see is that when you look at like Zeri just like popping off, going 50 miles an hour in team fights, it's because the enemy team kind of devotes their one source of lockdown, like a Sejuani ult or something. Here you have the Vi that can go in and lock her down, but then after that you are reliant on the skill shots. You are reliant on Xerath E, Swain E to lock down the Zeri if your initial play doesn't really work. So,
Yep.
like you said, Habibi Poppy is the star of his team. If his team can get him through that early game safely, there are definitely angles for him to absolutely carry this game.
Yep, absolutely. That's going to be a player to watch for sure in this game. But there's a bunch of very good players in this game. Um, Derive, Nightstone, Habibi Poppy, Lyrax, Jiraxis. I mean, these players are all Diamond Plus. They're gonna be able to, if they get those resources, they're gonna be able to carry with those resources.
Absolutely.
It looks like they're not in LCS order. I mean, that Xerath was locked in the jungle spot. I don't know what they're thinking. Is that obviously that's not a Xerath jungle?
Yeah.
But they'll definitely switch that up. We'll definitely be seeing. I don't remember what was even jungle on their team. What was it? It was Vi.
Vi.
Yeah. So we'll definitely be seeing a Vi on the second phase. But yeah, I really hope to see. I'm really excited for this Xerath and the Swain bot lane. I think that if you can't shut them down, if I mean, in a non-ganking lane like or jungler like Graves can't really knock them down because they don't really bot lane doesn't really have any gank setup, right? They just have a Yumi and a Zeri. There's no CC, and I think that's what the 3-time is actually lacking a lot, is that they don't have any reliable source of CC for this kindred, for this like Vi even to stop the engage. That might be like a flaw in their comp.
Yeah, they definitely are more focused on kiting back, letting the enemy team come into them, and then sort of re-engaging with Ornn, with Final Chapter, get the ball in a good spot for Shockwave. Like, you have to be able to absorb that initial engage, and it's going to be interesting to see how far ahead Sunny feels like they have to be to make those engages stick.
Yep, exactly. And Sunny, the 3-time also needs to be really smart in how they are peeling their backline. If Ornn can just stop the Vi engage and stop the Swain, stop the Mordekaiser from getting onto his Zeri, it's going to be really valuable. So the Zeri can just get the resets, get the move speed ramping up, and just start turning the fight.
All right. I am trying to go on an adventure and find what matchup the Kindred mid was playing in the one game I remember.
All right, we'll see it. Or maybe I mean you can find maybe other regions as well.
Yeah, I think it was into like back when Lucian mid was a big thing.
Oh, okay.
I think
That was
that
a
was
while
what it
ago.
was for.
It was a counter
So,
into
yeah,
Lucian mid.
I believe so. My
Okay.
memory might be hazy. I remember it being AD carry versus AD carry. that the Kindreds. Oh wait, no, that game was bizarre. They flexed Kindred to then put Callista mid,
Huh.
and the Kindred was against Callista.
Huh.
That was a very yeah. They don't really know what they're doing in Vietnam. They love playing AD mids no matter what, and that's the kind of stuff they do.
Yeah, you're very interesting. Well, I mean, respect. I mean, they don't just monkey see, monkey do, like every major region does when they see Korea. Like they just
Yeah,
people just watch T1 and whatever happens in Korea, sometimes OPL, and they just copy whatever happens there.
yeah. I mean, 3 time have a very standard sort of like what you would believe Korea plays all the time. You know, like scaling. We're not gonna really flip any tables early on. We're just gonna scale. Let our mechanics speak for themselves in late game team fights. And then on the side of Sunny, they want early aggression. They want these weird picks to pan out in lanes, get them ahead, and get them the W.
Yeah, and I think that's something that this Kindred is going to bring to the table for sure. Because that champ has a lot of early game damage just naturally as a jungler. That looks for early skirmishes to get those marks. She's going to probably look to start invading this graves or start playing 2v, like the skirmishing with their jungler.
Yeah. One thing I will say with the way stuff is kind of assigned, there is a lot of value in like early armor items for Orianna and early like magic resist items for Zeri Yumi. Like I remember back in the day when we would see like Syndra Nautilus bottom lanes, it would just sort of be like, okay, you build Merc treads and now you just don't die.
Yeah, but at
Seeker's
this,
Arm Guard has gotten nerfed for Orianna, so it's not quite at what it used to be as a first item. But that is something that just kind of pans out with how the damage profile is split across Sunny.
yeah, I think it might not be worth them going any defensive items respective to their laner, because I mean, if Habibi goes an MR item, how's he gonna stop the Vi and the Kindred damage, right? I mean, I think it's just best to go just standard Zeri build so you can actually do damage. I think it might not be that worth to go for an MR item. I mean, Swain doesn't really do that much burst.
That is true. Yeah.
Xerath does have a good bit of damage, but he's also support, so it's not like the most oppressing. But I think and with a Yumi, she'll be able to like shield a lot of their poke. Not to say
Yeah.
that this lane won't be hard for Habibi Poppy, but I think it's just it'll be very optimal for Habibi to go just standard build. Same thing with Autumn. It's less important for Orianna because she is a supportive mid laner, so she can maybe opt for that. I'll get the thing up in a second. She can opt for that Seeker's Arm Guard, maybe, but again, it doesn't stop the damage from because the team, the side of Sunny does have a very good like spread of damage with their double AP bot lane, their AP top laner, with very hard hitting AD champions in mid and jungle. So it might not even be worth for her to go Zanya's or anything like that. So
Okay.
we'll just have to see.
Yeah. Also, are biscuits disabled with the mana exploit?
I don't know actually. Well, I'm not sure if it's working
Okay.
or not.
Okay. Either way, we know Zeri won't have them because no inspiration. Oriana might take them, but yeah, just like that kind of rune that you like to take to cushion out any rough laning phases, kind of recover from bad trades. I don't know if it is still disabled because Rise could hit 80,000 mana and one shot everyone and have a 80,000 Seraph shield. So I do not know if that is still disabled or not.
Yep. Give me a quick second. I think I'll have to restart the game. Do that really quick. This happens sometimes in Spectator. Let me find the drive. Should be good to go. Yep, and now we're in game.
All right, and we are away for our first game of the day. Sunny versus
The three-time.
the three-time, two of our best teams here, with some really exceptional players trying to pull ahead here in the best of one. And we got standard comp on one side and very unorthodox on the other.
Yep, and that's the spirit here. We don't want to. I want to see more of these spicy picks. I don't want to see all these meta slaving, like the three-time does. Looks like the three-time is trying to win, but it looks like Sunny is trying to win and have fun. So, win-win situation for them.
Absolutely disgusting. Having fun is not allowed anymore. I have queried mid games in both major and minor regions. There were a lot of games where it was played into Lucian as, I guess, a counter back when Lucian mid was good. Mm-hmm. There are a few games where it went up against a mage like Victor and Ari. That's about it. Not a lot of like mage matchups that Kindred has played into. Based on what you've been saying, you feel like this is a very good matchup for
I don't
Kindred
think it's exceptionally good, but I believe Derive will have the upper hand, just knowing how he feels about Kindred mid. And I'm not sure if Autumn has any experience into Kindred. I'm not even sure if she knows what the champ does. Because if I played into Kindred mid, I wouldn't know what to do either. But
we
looks
are
like
gonna have
a late invade.
Habib probably gonna get rooted up, dragged back by the Swain. Has to flash. He's got Yumi on his back as Nightstone is trying to fire back some damage. A loner a bit low. Gets tagged by projectile. Nightstone wants to go in. No one's blocking the buckshots. Harmonic on Arcanist now gonna step in front. Vi gonna look for the flash back. Trades 1-for-1 to Rive. Now gonna look onto Night's Dawn as the mid laners have arrived and are scrapping out themselves. But Night's Dawn now, he has his flash. He will use it to get he and Yumi out. But now Autumn in a rough spot. Lyrax.
What is going on?
Never move coming up. The level 1 Fiestas will continue. Flash away from Never Move, but it hits onto Night's Dawn. He doesn't really care. A loner and the Zeri Habib go down at the level 1. And it's just chaos off the bat.
I'm not even sure if that's good or not for either side, but I will say that Zeri does not have a flash. Bot lane doesn't have any suns, period. And that's just not good. Because you want to play safe in this lane as the Zeri, as the scaling pick. And when you don't have sums, you're just so vulnerable to these Vi ganks. And this all in from the double mage bot lane, basically a kill lane. So now you have to play super, super safe to be able to survive.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be a point that maybe Sunny tries to exploit here. Vi is starting on this bot side, might do 3 camp into bot, as Graves has also cleared up towards the top side. And we'll see what these junglers want to do. It looks like they're both going to play around top side and just leave Harmonic and Lyrax to get the advantage here in the early with a good Never Move and poke.
Yeah, I mean, they both don't have flash. I think a loner is happy to go just full clearing in terms at this point. Derive is...
Dissonance missed there.
Derive is playing it really well in this mid lane. Yeah, it seems like Derive just knows this matchup, and Autumn just, with that lack of knowledge, doesn't really know what Kindred does mid lane, or like what kind of damage output she has. But it seems like Derive really knows this matchup and is winning out on these trades.
Yeah, early game going very well. We do see that there are biscuits for Harmonic Arcanist, so they are not disabled off the exploit, and it looks like, I believe Ornn is the only one on blue side with the biscuits. So despite all these rough laning phases, it is not going to be cookies to save the day for most of these lanes.
Yeah, let's see if a loner actually gifts Derive the Scuttle Crab for his first mark. That would be very, very big to start off with a mark.
Out. But they are going to look to make a play on top side for 3-time, and Jiraxis in trouble. He'll get a huge W shield. Nightstone puts out a lot of damage. Gets the smoke screen to hide the knockup. Brittle proc doesn't hit. And so Jiraxis trying to walk this one out. Does he look for the fat flash? He gets it.
He does.
So Jiraxis able to get out.
Well played by Jiraxis to hold his flash to make sure he can get out safely. And I think that I'm going to hover over the Kindred. I think I was focused on top side, but it seems like Kindred did get that mark. So it looks like he did get that last hit on the Scuttle, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, Jirax is still sticking around. Very generous of a loner to give over the crab there and invade onto Krugs, and now maybe looking for bot. W
Yeah,
was
Habibi
on
has no
Bobby
flash.
away. No flash on the Zeri Yumi
Oh
top.
my
As they try to
goodness,
split,
where's
but
Aloner
the Q
going?
misses. Harmonic Arcanist is a bit low, but he still has heal. He's not in any real danger. They'll give it over to Lyrax. And meanwhile, the Mordekaiser turns around in the 1v1 and just slaps down the Ornn.
Wow, that is just not good for the side of 3-time. They're just getting slapped around all around the map right now. I mean, this is not what you want to see from your main man, Habibi Poppy. You really want him to be comfortable in this lane. But with those flashes down and the Vi gank, I mean, he just had nowhere to go. Even with the Vi gank going to literally Narnia with that Q miss, they managed to pick up the kill, and Jiraxis gets that solo kill up in the top lane as well, even after the gank.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. I am interested to know what Nightstone was like kind of planning with his early path, trying to go towards top side. It almost resulted in a good kill, but as we saw, like Mordekaiser can still hang around in that lane even when he's low, and maybe Danny just got a bit too eager.
Yeah.
And get solo killed for it.
And I think that's something about Aloner is that I said this before. He is really he really likes to play for his lane. So if a Kindred mark arises again in the Scuttle Crab, or if it's on the Raptors and he's already taking the camp, he's gonna give it up. He will play to get his lanes ahead, and I think it's really good for the jungler or for his team.
I do believe there was a change where Kindred just has to assist on the mark now. So I
Is
don't
that
believe
the
you have
change?
to. So I don't believe you have to outright give up the camp.
Oh, okay,
I believe that was a change.
Well, that's really big then. Okay. Maybe somebody in chat can tell me if I'm wrong, but we got a best casters
Kindred
from...
connoisseur, but I vaguely remember this coming through earlier in patch notes.
We had a best
Either
casters
way, yeah.
comment from JCR Sings in the chat. Thank you. Assist on camp is fine for Mark. Thank you, Jason the Other, for telling us that. So
yeah.
it looks like Vi doesn't actually have to give
needed.
Yeah.
We don't need to be the Salvation Army for Aloner here.
Though I think Aloner would still do it anyway. He's a nice guy. Derive needs to watch out.
Has looped around in mid lane, and Derive will just hop away with that Q and be chilling in this matchup, holding on to summoners, and he'll be fine.
Yeah, and I think going back to what you said earlier about Nightstone pathing away from his bot lane while Vi was pathing towards the bot lane, even after that late invade, I think it was really interesting because Ornn is not someone you want to get ahead, right? That's somebody you want on a weak side, typically. It looks like he wanted to just get that early kill for himself, but they're looking for more.
Never move. A lot of damage. Habibi Poppy trying to create some distance. He'll flash out. Yumi will face tank any skill shots remaining as Habibi Poppy wants to stick around to soak up whatever he can of this wave.
Oh, that's a kill!
And Arcanist gets him with the Q.
Oh my goodness. Literally right when Habibi's flash comes up, it gets burned, and then he dies anyway.
Yep, the shockwave clears out the minion wave. Derive is a bit low, but he'll be fine. Just a chunk out.
Yeah,
and he's got some biscuits to heal up.
But yeah, oh my god, Habibi is just not having a good time in this bot lane right now. And yeah, like I was saying, I feel like Nightstone should have been, covering for his bot lane, knowing that they have no flashes, making sure that they just aren't out of the game like they are right now. They're 0-3, down 20 CS. It's just not looking good for them.
Yeah, that ticking time bomb of Zeri is going to be delayed quite a lot, while the Roa of Lyrax is going to come online a bit sooner than maybe 3-time would like.
Yeah, and I think that is going to be a Roa, not going to be an Abyssal Mask or anything like that. But Abyssal Mask would be a good item considering how much AP they have on their side with the Xerath and the
Derive is going to hunt down his mark here with it being on the Raptors. Gets a lot of damage onto Nightstone, who has to flash out.
He's going to pick up the mark,
Raptors are going to reset, and Nightstone is able to smite it away. As now here is Cridians with the slow. Derive has to flash. Ignite is burning. Nightstone going to go on over with the Yumi attached, and one more shot will do it. Cridian's actually the one with the kill. Maybe not ideal, but
and I think Derive just didn't think that the Yumi Q would kill him. He still had aura up. He could have used the Land's Respite to stay alive there, but he just dies to the Yumi. I think it's okay. Maybe he didn't want to burn his ulti, just give the kill over to the Yumi. Wasn't too bad of a trade, but very aggressive play. Going for that just costed him a death.
I mean, we did... actually, Mordekaiser ult dropped in top lane. Elgato's going to try to survive this and soak up what he can. But Jirax is trying to lay down the smack. And
he might just get ran down here.
Good Q off. And, I mean, Danny, he's got a long way to run. And I don't think that turret is close enough. He'll get a flash. This with the follow-through. And a very nice second solo kill for Jirax.
Yeah, that's a bit of a negative elixir trait, not going to lie. I think one of Daniel Elgato's catchphrases, but... Yeah, well played from Jiraxis. That's 2 solo kills now up in the top lane in that counter matchup. So that's the power of the red side.
Yeah, we are going to see more damage onto Poppy, but I think Lyrax and Arcanist are maybe planning a reset here on this. Nope, they're not. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, again, like I said, that's the power of the red side where you get counter pick on both of your solo laners. And even the bot lane got counter pick, I believe. I think the Zeri was a B1 pick, and they picked Swain into it. And look how well they're doing. Every single lane is doing well.
Yeah, I think when we kind of look back on that draft, it's like, well, 3-Time kind of has this plan of playing this big team fight death ball composition, whereas, you know, on the side of Sunny, they kind of played it by ear. They looked at matchups they liked, take them for the lane, and even though Derive's getting chased out here, it's going very well for them.
Yeah, Harmonic Arcanist is a sniper right now. He don't miss. He is hitting every single Arcano Pulse. And Habibi Poppy is just suffering, man. He is suffocating right now in this lane. He cannot breathe. Somebody get this man an airbag.
Yeah, I mean, when you pick these 3 winning lanes, like you said, you want to stomp them into the pavement so they can't breathe, and the scrim just gets remade by 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We are going to see Herald summoned up in the bottom lane, and that turret is very low. Graves and Orion are trying to come to support. Lyrax is sectioned up, but the Vi is going to drop the ultimate. Yumi getting the ult off does not matter, and Cridians and Habibi Poppy will drop once again. 0-4 on the Zeri. Bot turret going to fall as well.
It's not pretty. It is really not pretty down there. This all spiraled out of control just because of that late invade when their bot lane had to use both Suns, and Sunny really capitalized on that with the Vi ganks. With Harmonic Arcanist just playing the lane super well, Lyrax playing the lane super well, and just poking down the Zeri Yumi, making sure they can't scale and just get a free lane. Well played to them.
Mean, yeah, very nicely done. Also, 3 neutral objectives going the way of a loner. So even though the Orianna has definitely survived... Oh dear.
Oh, sorry about that.
So even though the Orianna has definitely kind of survived this mid matchup, calls over Nightstone here to maybe get some damage onto Swain, but he'll be fine. Even though Autumn has kind of survived this lane matchup, is up in CS in fact, it is still that mid prio from Derive enabling the composition to do whatever it wants on the side of Sunny.
Yeah, although he's down quite a bit of CS now at this point. But I think they're in a good position, you know? Let's see how many marks that this Kindred has. I think he doesn't have too many. 2, okay. But as we know, Kindred needs 4 to get that attack speed range buff. And actually become a champion. Lyrax might be in trouble. Maybe Autumn's in trouble, actually.
Sidestep on the E. Vi's going to drop on in to get the kill. Nightstone look for more as Orna's roamed over. Lands a 2-man knockup, but Lyrax will be fine. The knockup doesn't connect, and Aloner's just going to walk out. They get a never move. They go back in, and Aloner finds another stun onto Nightstone as he's got to leave. He's going to quick draw forward. He's got a Baby Poppy by him. Yumi ultimate is dropped, but Lyrax is just on the edge. They can't nail down any kills. And they give up 2-4.
Oh, the Lamb's respite! He's out of the ulti!
Graves is outside the circle, and he is not gonna be living through that one.
Oh my!
It is just still going all wrong.
It is just a disaster for 3-Time right now. It is. I can't even watch. It's not looking good. It is just not looking good. And they're
gonna go hunting. As last round.
Oh my god! Oh my!
It is enough. First strike, the best route in the game. Gets himself a solo kill. Harmonic Arcanist, like you said, general sniper over here.
Oh my god, that's a tilter. Right when you think you're out, you know, regroup, collect your losses, you know, they pull you right back in with that Xerath ulti. Harmonic Arcanist has been sharp shooting out here. Literally not missing. This guy has been going crazy on this Xerath.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the game state very, very favorable for Sunny here. Up 6k gold at 14 minutes. They took the entire bot tower. They got like 4 plates off the top. Everyone's hitting their mythics. And it's looking very good for the side of Sunny.
Yep.
So what do you think, you know, we need to see out of 3-Time to be able to stabilize this game?
I don't know. I think they just need to make some last-ditch effort. But the thing is, they can't even look for picks. They don't have any pick potential except with this Ornn. And even with the Ornn needs ulti to look for those picks, right? I think it's going to be very, very hard for the 3-Time to get back into this game.
Yeah, I do think when you look at a champion like the Ornn that has this full frontal engage that can really set up team fights, as actually Night's Dawn going on in. Arcanist is going to dodge away from a lot of stuff, but he is going to have to flash away from Final Chapter. So he will lose that summoner.
Yeah.
But nothing too bad.
Yeah, Sunny just needs to make sure that they play it safe, you know, play it slow. They don't have to do anything crazy. They can just play their range with the Xerath, with the Swain, and just slowly beat out with these objectives. They're taking Herald right now. We see it on the side. Oh, sorry. We see it on Aloner just took the Herald, and they're gonna just start looking for more objectives. These towers, the dragon coming up in 1 minute, and they're just gonna start stacking and, you know, making sure that the side of 3-time doesn't have any win conditions.
Yep, mid tower can definitely open up a lot if they can drop that Herald there. All of a sudden you start taking all of Graves' jungle camps. He can't really get to the item spikes he wants to. And so I think that's going to be where they intend to drop the Herald. Maybe they time it up with Dragon. Maybe they just go for it anyway.
Yep, absolutely. It's interesting to me too that the Lyrax actually builds that Catalyst. I think Catalyst is a very good item by itself, but he doesn't go for that row. He actually goes for that Rylai's instead for the slow. So he's going to delay his Roa spike. Unless he's not going for a Roa. Maybe he actually is going for Abyssal Mask for more innate tankiness. And that's something that's really good. I think might be a good pickup for them because they're already so ahead. And they have so much damage already with the Xerath, with the Mordekaiser building Riftmaker, with the Vi, with the Kindred, with this Kraken Slayer. I think it might even be a good option for him to go like, you know, Abyssal Mask into Jockshow or something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time before the Zeri starts dealing relevant damage to these champions, so maybe not too maybe an Abyssal Mask can really help him just solidify his role in the front line, as Night's Dawn is going to be caught. He'll have the smoke screen, but just hops in and out. An easy solo kill. Swain now going to zone away everyone else. In goes the Vi, drops the ultimate, and Autumn will be dropped down for another kill.
Yep, and that's the Hextech Dragon going over to Sunny. It's going to be Soul Point. And yeah, the onslaught just continues. Oh, my lead just crashed.
But yeah, certainly a very... Oh no, there we go. Yeah. Certainly a very good game from the side of Sunny. And, I mean, you talked about Aloner being a heavy ganking jungler. He did exactly that throughout that early game, despite dying on that initial invade. He knew what his plan was. Got bot lane ahead, got every neutral objective. And, yeah, Graves is up a few camps, but no one really cares at this point.
Yep, and they're just going to find another pick here. Daniel Gato has to flash.
Yep, he's going to flash out. He's going to try to call the Ornhorn, but can Kindred get the last shot? She won't. Ornhorn does connect, but who really cares? Habibi Poppy trying to start off with the ulti. He dodges away from a lot of the range damage, and I mean, Habibi not going to flip one in. Looks for the ride, but the Lamb's Respite is there to save him as Habibi Poppy is going to leave the zone. Night's Dawn trying to flash forward, find anything for the side of 3-time. It's a good shutdown. Aloner now Shockwave back on in. Night's Dawn looking for a quick draw over the wall. He's going to take it over onto Lyrax. He's slowed. Aloner trying to go back in. A weird flash from Autumn, but now it's Aloner caught out. It's Night's Dawn with 2 shutdowns. And forget the camp lead. Night's Dawn just got a huge sack of gold.
Yeah, that guy's a millionaire right now. He has a lot of gold. And I'm not big. I don't remember the hotkey to check gold, but yeah, this guy is gonna back, and he's gonna get a few items to finish off, and hopefully get the 3-time and his whole team back into this game. But honestly, with this Zeri so far behind, it is not looking good. It
is X, by the way.
That's X. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I think he just finishes
7K
Eclipse
on the Graves now. Finishes Eclipse. He will try his best to bring this game back.
Yeah, but with even all those shutdowns, like, he doesn't even have that much more gold than the Vi does. Only has about, what, 300? I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. And he does opt for the more aggressive build with the... let's see what this guy is. Wow, yeah, he's just laying it on Habibi Poppy right now. But yeah, he's going for this... Sorry, go ahead.
Ulting for fun, getting first strike whenever you can.
He's just farming Habibi Poppy right now. Yeah, but yeah, Graves is going for this more aggressive build. Opts for the Eclipse instead of the Gore Drinker, so he's just going full damage. He needs to get these kills.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to see Herald summoned up here from the side of Sunny. They'll get the crash in, take the inner, take the gold, and push for maybe another crash.
Yeah, let's see what if Habibi Poppy and the 3-time can even defend against the siege. Oh, they're looking
They're
for a
gonna have
point.
Borno Graves on the flank. A nice 2-man knockup. Who's Knight's not looking for? He's gonna be locked up by a loner. He's taking that duel. He dodges away from the Xerath damage, but he's still locked up and he's still taken down. Habibi Poppy now with flash away. Shockwave is good onto only one as Derive has joined the fight, and the Kindred is firing the arrows right into the corpses of 3-time. They will lose 3 to a loner. They'll lose 5 in total. A clean ace, and that may just be the game at 21 minutes.
That is a 20-minute stomp. I must say, it was just, from start to finish, it was just the side of Sunny just foot on the gas pedal. They did not let it off onto the 3-time. And the 3-time has nothing to do but look at their Nexus explode. Knight's gone.
Really solid game here from the side of Sunny. Graves will try to do what he can, but he gets blown up by the Fist of Jiraxis. Habibi Poppy, I mean, there's not much you can do. You just gotta go next. Wipe this from the memory banks. Because it is an absolute stomp for Sunny.
Yeah, I think just forget this ever happened. Look forward to the losers bracket. Keep your mentals high. But yeah, very strong showing from Sunny. And they're going to move to round 2 on the winner side of the bracket. And speaking of which, I'm going to go check on how that is. We might have time to cast another game, depending on when it starts. But I'll have to see. Give me 1 second. But with that, let's drag somebody in and see if anyone wants to do an interview. Okay, the time is now 6:46, so I believe this is going to be our last game that I'll be streaming. But we're going to end it off with an interview on the side of Sunny. I'm just waiting for word.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, there was definitely a plan there from the side of 3-time, but now you just have to go forward. How much of this do you really want to change? Do you want to play this passive style again, where you're just trying to hope to scale to where Zeri becomes an absolute unkillable force? Do you want to get something more aggressive in the jungle? Do you want to get something more aggressive for Habibi Poppy himself? Definitely going to be considerations that they have to look towards as they drop to losers bracket.
Alright, they're going to be sending in Harmonic Arcanist. So we'll be interviewing him. What's up, my man? Harmonic Arcanist. Yo, big win. You guys really stomped them. You just completely abused that Zeri and Yuumi down there in the bot lane. I think you're a bit of a Yuumi hater, not gonna lie. You were like not missing. That you got a red dot on that Yumi's head and that Zeri's head.
Yeah.
How
I
did
mean,
that
obviously
feel?
a really rough lane for the Zeri Yuumi. We got a lot of poke and not much Zeri can really do to walk up in that lane. And obviously our jungle was putting a lot of pressure on bot lane, so we were able to get a pretty big advantage early on, and then just kind of carry that forward into a win.
Yeah, the game kind of became a fiesta off that level 1 invade. What was the kind of like expectation you guys had for that invade, and thoughts after it like panned out?
I mean, we just knew our bot lane would be way ahead for most of the game. I mean, first of all, just the players, but also seeing the champions, and obviously our jungler, one of the best players in the tournament. So we kind of just knew that our level 1 was a lot better, and we thought going for an early invade could really kickstart our bot lane off.
And that it did. I mean, once that flash was once the summoners was down, you burned all 4 summoners on that late invade. Once all those 4 summoners were down, I mean, Habibi Poppy could not get back into the game. I mean, you guys were just laying it on him. But I mean, how did you guys even come up with something like this? Even before the game plan started, how did you guys come up with this draft?
Well, I mean, our ADC is obviously an expert on the Swain, and so we were kind of just looking at a good way to build a comp around Swain. They really tried to pinch the ADC mid pool, but luckily we had the Kindred to pull out, which turned out to be a very pivotal pick. And I mean, with them first locking Zeri, it's just Swain's such a good matchup into a bot lane, and we have the Vi to lock her down basically every fight. And then once they had the Yuumi, there's really nothing they could do.
Yep. I think you guys executed your comp very well. I mean, there was some spicy picks, obviously, with the double AP bot lane, the Kindred mid, which is not something you see every day for sure. But it seemed to like all work out perfectly well. I mean, Derive just had a bunch of confidence going into this game. just to play it well. And I think you guys all played very well. I mean, I'm not even sure who to give the MVP to. I may be a loner because he saw the situation down bot lane. He instantly recognized that Zerayumi was super vulnerable with no sums and started pathing down there.
Yeah, I
and,
completely agree.
Kickstarted that. So
Wait, no, you're not supposed to agree. You're supposed to fight for yourself here,
Oh,
man.
yeah,
You
sure.
were
I was the best
4-0-13.
player in the game, bro. Like, did you see that Zeri just get ulted mid lane? She couldn't even back the whole game.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was really rough for them. But thank you, Harmonic Arcanist, Aiden, for coming in to interview
Yeah,
us.
thank you.
Good
Look forward
luck
to seeing you
on
next match. Yep.
Yep, good luck on round 2.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
All right. With that, Shiv, I think we're going to be wrapping it up here. Honestly, unfortunately, I do not have time to go to round 2 and cast that game. But I'm glad to see that banger of a game that we had in game 1, 3-time versus Sunny. Although it was a bit of a stomp, but some really spicy stuff from Derived side. And I hope to see more of that during the rest of the tournament. I'll be watching the tournament a little bit, but I won't be able to cast. So thank you, everyone. Shiv, do you have any final remarks?
No. Have a good night.
Yep. Please donate to DMV. Continue watching. Maybe somebody will stream. I think somebody will stream Losers Finals and Grand Finals. Don't quote me on that, but stay tuned. Thank you, everyone. Take care.